Lord Jesus Christ, and welcome to St. Cyril and Methodius Orthodox Church. I'm Father Gregory, the pastor here in Madison, Wisconsin, and it's good to be with you this morning. It's been a while since we've posted anything here. We've had any conversation. I've been traveling. I've been little bit under the weather, and so things have sort of slipped a little bit, but hopefully we'll be back visiting each other every morning. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about judging, and what brought that to mind was the fact that we were not able to have Vespers last night here at the parish because our landlady rents the parking lot out to tailgaters for UW home games. Before I get to that, though, I'd like to ask you, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you would please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this either on my personal Facebook page or on our parish Facebook page, St. Cyril and Methodius Ukrainian Orthodox Mission, if you would like it on those forums, and maybe if you're on the parish Facebook page, subscribe to it. Well, like I said, last night we didn't have Vespers, and that's because there was a home game, and the owner of the property rents the parking lot out for tailgaters. When I talked to her about this several years ago, we took over the space. One of the things she told me, and I think it makes really good sense, is that she was having a problem with tailgaters just sort of trespassing on the property. So it was either rent it out and have some control over what goes on, or deal with trespassers and having to call Madison Police Department, cite people. It was a lot of aggravation. So she decided to rent the property out as a way of sort of controlling things, which makes really good sense, and I don't in any way object to it. I'm sorry to not be able to have Vespers during home games, but this is what we have, so we accept it. But this morning I came in, and I do what I do every Sunday morning after home games. I put on a pair of gloves, and I went and collected garbage from around the building. And this is what happens at home games. People, they're out, they're drinking, and they just throw their garbage wherever they will. I'm not the only one doing that, by the way. I also noticed there are people here in the neighborhood who pick up, come out with garbage bags and gloves and clean up the place. But this raises an interesting question for me. We have two groups of people, primarily, most likely UW alums, one who are littering and leaving garbage all over the place, and another who picking up that garbage the next morning. Which of these should we use as the touchstone for the character of UW alum? Now, granted, we're overgeneralizing, but what do we want to use as the lens, maybe, to see the university? Do we want to use the litterers and the people who are publicly drunk, or do we want to look at the people who are cleaning up the place? For a lot of critical theory, a lot of neo-Marxist theory, for example, or the hermeneutic, people who practice what's called the hermeneutic of suspicion, it's the first group. It should be the lens. We look at people through their worst aspect, because that's when they're being really truly themselves, when they are exercising their power and their ability to impose their will upon others. The Christian response is to look at the people picking up garbage and saying, yeah, you know what? There's some people out there who do some bad things, but thank God for these people who are doing good things and trying to correct what was done wrong. We're reaching more and more a point, I think, in our life as a society in America, where we're taking that first option just as our default response. This isn't a matter of something that liberals do or conservatives do or left wing, right wing. Is that it has really become just the default position to look at people at their worst moment and to freeze their identity there. This is precisely the thing that Jesus in the gospel tells us we are not to do. We are not to judge. We are not to reduce people to their worst day. In fact, when we do judge, when we do make moral decisions, we should do so with generosity. We should strive to look for how that individual when that individual is at his or her best, that community or institution is at its best. That's the thing that really honestly distresses me most, as not only as a pastor, but also as an American, is that more and more Americans are looking at America on its worst day and making that the standard. What's interesting about it is that these groups have different worst days, but they both agree with the underlying principle that America is what it is on its worst day, whatever that worst day is. This is really a great failing as a nation, but it also represents a great failing for those who are Christian who do this. America is not slavery. America is not riots. America is a nation that has experienced these things, to be sure, but we have something in us that is better. And that is not because we're Americans, but because we are a human society. Human beings are, never are sin. There is always something within us that endures no matter how deep the sin, and that is the Imago Dei, the image of God. We are, each of us, created in the image of God, and it is that which defines us. It is that which sets the standard for who we are. Our job as Christians is to be able to see that, to not reduce people or institutions or society to their worst moment. Well, it is 20 after 8, and I've got to get ready to serve liturgy in about an hour and 10 minutes. Like I said, we're not streaming at the moment, but if you'd like us to stream, just give me a note and let me know. Also, if you have any questions, maybe put it in the comment section and I'll try to answer it. Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go, and have a good Sunday. Hopefully you'll be able to get to church, and that'll be lovely. All right. Thanks. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.